Welcome, welcome one and all of our racing fans, all of our community, all of the Star Citizen universe. Welcome to the May 2049 Star Racing Cup. Of course, we will move on to our Series 2 Highspeed on Deferred Link, and we're going to be seeing some very cool races here, hopefully some high-octane action, a lot of collisions, a lot of passing each other back and forth, and as we know from our previous series, that is extremely likely to actually happen. On over here, and take a look at what it is our racers are going to be looking for. The ships will be announced later, but actually we're just saying this right now. We know what the ships are going to be. We have in our high-speed class on the track, Deferred Link, we're going to be seeing our M50s and our Razors flying there of all varieties. Usually we would have the 350Rs, however, as we know those are not available at the moment. Our racers are going to be competing for first place, second place, and third place in that high-speed class, where first place will receive a $50 gift card, second will receive $25 for the Star Citizen store, and third place will get $10 on that same RSI website. Thank you to all of those who are joining us. Thank you to all those follows, all of those new members of the Star Racing community. We look forward to having you with us today through our races and further and further into the future. Here we are on the screen right here with our camera operator. It looks like there is not the end of the first lap yet, but we do have all of our racers. Here is the view from Cat 740. There we are. Looks like they're following quite closely behind Cyrez there. And Cyrez is certainly one to be beaten, and it looks like Cyrez is in the lead right now, Cat 740 right behind, and then we have Barak 43 and Officer Rondog bringing up the fourth place position. And what do we got here? Let's take a look over at Cyrez, our current leader. And as you can see, that bright sunlight really can be an issue, especially if you need to read the information on your screen while you're flying around, which isn't always what we need to do when we're racing, but it is something that is important to do every so often in any sort of racing mode. But you can see Cyrez is taking some very tight corners here to get through these buildings. We have those apartment buildings of death, and it looks like even back in third place we have Barak, who is getting a little bit of stutters here, but we can see that they are right in behind our second place racer, Cat 740. And it looks like they are really kind of holding their own, catching up pretty close there. Here's Cyrez coming on through the end of the first lap with 2 minutes, 8 seconds, 31 milliseconds. And then here we have Cats, who's going to be coming up right afterwards. Ooh, cutting through that person's garage. The fun maneuver, the one that we always love to do, with 2 minutes, 14 seconds, 2 milliseconds. And then let's take a look. Can we see our last racer, Barak, also heading through? They avoided the garage, but they are going to come through, and their time is going to show up as 2 minutes, 16 seconds, 65 milliseconds. So well done to our racers. Heading over here to Marathos' view, it looks like we do have a pretty tight spread here among our racers. At least the first three, we have 8 seconds after 2 minutes, 14 seconds, 16 milliseconds, and then here we have Officer Rondog coming in with 2 minutes, 46 seconds, and 93 milliseconds. All very nice times. Ooh, look at Cats. He is just drifting extremely tight and extremely recklessly through these corners. This is where that new flight model really does come into effect. You can see he is drifting almost to entirely like backwards before he starts accelerating again to come out of these turns, which is risky. But at the same time, maybe it cuts off a little bit of time. But will it be enough for this individual to catch up with Cyrez, who is up here? It looks like they're about to go into the end of their second lap, up that huge spiral at the end of this lap. And this is going to be a pretty interesting maneuver here. We can see they are cutting it quite close, coming through these, really playing it. This feels a little bit more conservative than we see from Cats. If we swap back over, we can see Cats is really starting to like cut in close, accelerating a little bit later, or decelerating a little bit later, hitting the brakes rather, with a little bit less leeway. So maybe that will be enough to help them catch up to Cyrez. And it looks like they're going through some fun spinning maneuvers, a little bit of a barrel roll right there. Not always necessary, but it is always cool. Here comes Cyrez coming through with 2 minutes, 7 seconds, And then we're going to be seeing Cats coming up. He avoids that garage this time because who really needs that? This best lap is 2 minutes 5 seconds, so this is a faster time than we saw from Cyrez. So we do have Cats making up a little bit of time on this lap, coming into the very, 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 really quite challenging switchbacks here. This is not the most fun part of this map because it's just a little bit challenging to maneuver through those effectively. Let's take a look at our standings among everybody. We have Cyrez still in the lead, Cats coming in, but with that best lap of 2 minutes 5 seconds is really making quite a decent comeback. Barak 43, 2 minutes 16 seconds still, and Officer Rondog is still there at 2 minutes 46 seconds and 93 milliseconds. Let's take a look at our pack leader right now. Cyrez coming through into the large dive in the early portion of this next map, or the midway portion of this Defford Link map. And here they are starting to get into the final third, final quarter of the race, but we do have extremely close times. Let's switch back over to Cats. Can we see Cyrez up ahead? And we can. You know it's a close race when you can physically see, and that was almost like right in his face there, Cyrez. So Cats definitely making up some time. Look, I'm sure that Cats' adrenaline is pumping, as is Cyrez's, I'm sure. Ooh, that drift really did damage Cats for time a little bit there, but maybe it will actually pay off a little bit as they do a little bit of a less risky maneuver through here. Yeah, we can see Cyrez and Cats are really almost trading positions, but Cyrez still holding on to that lead, and it looks like actually maybe Cats just took the lead away from them. Let's take a look over here. Yes, Cats has taken the lead away, so let's take a look at their screen heading on into the final stretch of this map. Officer Rondog committed suicide, exploded. Here comes Cats, and Cats is going through with 2 minutes 5 seconds, 10 milliseconds on that lap. Cyrez coming in the next position with time of 2 minutes 7 seconds, but in total we have Cats with 6 minutes 24 seconds and 63 milliseconds, Cyrez with 6 minutes 29 milliseconds, or 29 seconds and 28 milliseconds, Barak 43 coming in, an unknown commodity here. We've never seen Barak race in one of our events before, so it is very cool to see them coming in so close at 6 minutes 46 seconds and 83 milliseconds. And let's take a look over here at Barak, just kind of drifting backwards out of the map. You always love to see this when racers finish. They just drift out and then gradually drift in reverse all the way on out. And we'll see, do we find a finish from Officer Rondog? Do they get to that end time, or are they going to be finishing off with a did not finish? But 2 minutes 46 seconds on their best lap is not anything to really make fun of. That is quite a decent time, but unfortunately just not enough to catch up and keep pace with Cats, Cyrez, and Barak. So, well done to our racers here. Let's take a look at these final scores. Holding my hand over the screenshot button just in case we do have Officer Rondog come in the last couple of seconds. But unfortunately it doesn't look like it. We do have Cats with 6 minutes, 24 seconds, and 63 milliseconds in that first place position. Cyrez, 6 minutes, 29 seconds, 28 milliseconds, and Barak, 43, 6 minutes, 46 seconds, and 83 milliseconds. Let's minimize this here. Head on over to our studio page, where we are going to, be switching to the correct switching to it right now. That was an amazing race. Yes, absolutely. Oh, we're going to need to switch over to high-speed bracket here. So between Barak, Cyrez, Cats, and Officer Rondog, we do have Cats with that leading time of 6 minutes, 25 milliseconds, or 25 seconds, and 3 milliseconds. Cyrez coming in second, just holding it all the way up right until the end of that race with 6 minutes, 29 seconds, and 28 milliseconds. Here we go. There is the correction coming out from our editor here. I believe that this is Obi Notice, who is editing this screen for us. Officer Rondog with his unfortunate did not finish, and then we have Barak with, I believe it was, well, we'll see in a moment what it was. But congratulations to Cats. They're going to be moving on to those finals with quite a good time. But they are not safe. Even just from this first round, we know that Cyrez really has their number. And it was a pretty impressive pass right there just in the last little stretch of the race. Cats like easy. We'll see if it continues on in that way to the future. And right now, before we miss any other opportunities, we are going to be taking a look at a video from one of our wonderful, wonderful sponsors. This is Altama Enegry coming to you with a little bit of a commercial for some of their beautiful, wonderful products. Enjoy.
Over 50 years ago, we set out to help Origin Jumpworks go farther. In that time, we learned things. A lot of things. With partners like Origin, we've gone farther than we ever could have imagined. Ultima Hydrogen Plus. Where will it take you?
And heading back over here, we are going to take another look at our brackets because we are going to be seeing this next race. It was supposed to be among 5 racers, but it looks like we only have 4 as Ninjetti is unable to start. They gave us a notification that they would not be here for the beginning of the day. Or at the beginning of the day. So unfortunately, Ninjetti is not going to be represented here. But we are going to be having Ligim, Rippers, Airsai Ivan, and Rumgood facing off. All 4 of those racers are very accomplished and well known within the community. In fact, all of our racers are quite well known, or certainly known within the community. So it's going to be interesting seeing who does come away, and hopefully that was not my power about to die, because that was a weird flicker of light, but we're still alive, so we are A-okay. As we move forward, thank you to our wonderful sponsor, Altama Enegry. You can find them on the RSI website, and if you like what you see, if you're into cargo hauling, if you are into tracking the stats of universe-wide values of commodities, feel free to check out Altama Industries, and hey, you may even get some cool swag out of it, like this right here. We're going to be looking at this next race, and our high-speed class is actually a pretty interesting set of racers. We have representation from a lot of different organizations. We have Barak 43 with his representation of Heritage. Cyrez is in from Das Cartel. Cats from Penta. Ninjetti, who of course is not participating, is unable to today, but we will be seeing them in the future, is in from Starjäger. Ligim from Librum Civis, or Civs. Officer Rondog, we don't have information on your organization, but in future, if you would like to add information, please feel free to do so. And then, moving forward, we have Rippers from the 13th Expeditionary Corps. This is a, I believe, French organization that you are able to join, or it may not be. I'm not exactly sure. I just know that some of their name is in the French language. Then we have Airsai Ivan from Rustech, which is a group that we usually have quite a bit of representation from, but this week we're lacking on the Rustech representation, but that's okay. Maybe in future they'll come back, or maybe they won't, and they're doing their own thing, and that is totally okay. And then finally, another representative of Penta Esports. This is Rumgood. who many of you know, as you may have been involved with this community for a while and have just heard of Rumgood. As you can see, we have some updates to our standings in the finals. We definitely are going to be seeing Cats 740. We definitely are going to be seeing Cyrez, and then soon we will be adding in 2 names out of Ligim, Rippers, Airsai Ivan, and Rumgood. We'll be seeing Barak, so we'll be seeing 3 of those other names from the end. So we're going to be seeing all of our first round, and we're going to be seeing 3 of the 4 from our second round moving forward. Let's pop back over, not there, let's pop back over here, see how we are doing. Who do we have? Ligim, Airsai Ivan, Rumgood, and Systemac or Ripper is in game with us right now. And we'll be seeing this starting off in just a moment, and here we go. The game is starting. 3 seconds left, and we are going to be seeing this take off. There we go. Excellent. This is not a false start. We did see all of our racers get out safely, and here is Rumgood taking the what looks like the early lead, heading on into that. Yes, we do have Rumgood with the early lead, followed by Ripper, Systemac, Ligim, and Airsai Ivan. Looks like Airsai Ivan is taking advantage of this second do-over round because they are taking a little bit more of an early position from Systemac, Ripper, and Airsai Ivan, jumping up into second place even right there. Here we go. Let's take a look at the Cats cam, and narrowly avoiding those buildings. Maybe we would have a cool explosion from Cats. And here we go. We have still in the lead Rumgood taking that path there, and Ripper crashing into a building and exploding. But then here come our racers, and the placements right now. We have Rumgood in the lead, followed by Airsai Ivan, really taking advantage of this second round. Ligim and Systemac, unfortunately, with that crash, falling a little bit into the back. And yes, we are going to be shifting through that Cats cam every so often, but here we go. This is the Rumgood cam, and here he is coming up into this. Really not taking some real risks there with the new flight model. There is a lot of drift that is potentially possible there, and unfortunately that will cost Rumgood, as Airsai Ivan has now moved into the first position just in front of Rumgood, so maybe Rumgood will be making up some time here. Ligim coming in 4th, and Systemac, now dropping back to 4th. Looks like Ligim and Systemac are trading at the same time that Rumgood and Airsai Ivan are trading their positions. So there's definitely a big race for 1st and 2nd, and a separate big race for 2nd and 3rd, or 3rd and 4th, but even those numbers are changing a little bit. There's Airsai Ivan back into 2nd position, Rumgood in 2nd position, Rumgood in the lead again, and Ligim and Systemac doing a similar swap. Ligim, Systemac, and then Ligim, but unfortunately Ligim, has crashed into a building. Let's see if we can find out where they end up on this map. And here is the view from Rumgood heading off into the end of this first lap. And what time are we going to be seeing from them? Just passed right at the end there by likely Airsai Ivan. But yes, Airsai Ivan was in first briefly, but now is fallen back into second. There is Rumgood with 2 minutes, 17 seconds, 98 milliseconds. Airsai Ivan, 2 minutes, 16 milliseconds. So leading at the moment of crossing the line, but unfortunately falling back almost immediately. Then there is Systemac with 2 minutes, 28 seconds, and 20 milliseconds. And Ligim really suffering from that crash earlier in the race towards the middle point of that lap with 2 minutes, 39 seconds, and 47 milliseconds. Let's take a look back at our current leader. Here is Rumgood. Looks like they might be taking a fewer risks here. They're flying a little bit more conservatively after that early crash that caused them to lose the command on the first position and allowed Airsai Ivan to really make up some very, very valuable time. Here goes Rumgood heading into that corner, and we'll head back over to the overhead cam from Cats. Airsai Ivan heading over past the middle section, but unfortunately it looks like it has fallen back quite some ways. Maybe Airsai Ivan got caught up on a building or overshot due to the drift in the new flight model. So Rumgood really looking strong, really doing a pretty consistent job of sticking with that lead, taking it, and then hanging on to it. At least into the middle section and end section of this second lap. There we go. There we can see the real issue with this current flight model. As you saw, Katz was definitely trying to move to the left side of those buildings, but the drifts, he just could not account for it and had to redirect and go around the outside. So maybe that is the sort of thing that could cause a little bit of challenges to the future. And then here we have him flying upside down, spinning around, making me dizzy, and flying down towards the end of this second lap with his lead. Will he keep it, though, through into the beginning of the third lap? We will find out shortly. Once again, there is that drift. It is a really challenging thing to deal with as a racer right now, the amount of drift that we do see. So 2 minutes, 11 seconds, 39 milliseconds. Quite a good time, actually, improving his time quite a lot. Let's see how Airside Ivan does as they come through in second position. And here we have the view from our camera. There we go. There is Airside Ivan coming on through. Systemac still in third with 2 minutes, 28 seconds, and 20 milliseconds. Let's see where they come through here. But as we talk about that, we will switch on over to our CATS cam, where we have somebody selected. There is Systemac selected, and it looks like Systemac really dropped back quite some ways. They're just crossing that finish line to start their third lap right now. So let's see if those times change at all. We have 2 minutes, 28 seconds with Systemac, unfortunately not improving their time, and Legim as well not improving their time with 2 minutes, 39 seconds. So the only one on that lap to improve their time was actually Rumgood, and we will see how that pays off for them moving forward. Here we have Rumgood's view again, heading into that deep, deep dive right through the middle of this map. I love that view as the two paths cross each other, and sometimes you do see the racers almost collide with each other. We just had that incident almost happen there, if it was like, 100 feet closer. So not really that much of a near miss, but still, it's fun to make things dramatic when they're not really dramatic. Here we go with Rumgood heading on into the end quarter of this map, going into the long upward curve. And let's take a look at Katz's camera position. Airside Ivan has dropped super far back, unfortunately for them. It looks like Rumgood is taken quite a dominating lead. That is an amazing lead, in fact. It is unusual that we see players that are that far ahead. Airside Ivan, everybody else really, must have run into some challenges across that third lap, getting into it and getting towards the end of it. Let's take a look at Rumgood's view as they do come in to the end of their third lap, and let's see what their time is. Their time is 2 minutes, 8 seconds, 27 milliseconds for a total of, and where are we at? 6 minutes, 37 seconds, and 66 milliseconds. So this time is definitely really closely competing with those times of our first round of semifinals for the Highspeed tournament. We're certainly going to be seeing Rumgood moving forward. And where will we see Airside Ivan, Systemac, and Legim? Will they stay in this order, or will we be seeing a little bit of an upset as Legim maybe takes over Systemac? But there is Airside Ivan with 7 minutes, 11 seconds, and 69 milliseconds. And Systemac and Legim starting to come towards the end here. Let's take a look over at Katz's view. And it looks like Systemac is going to be our next placer, who is going to be coming in third. And there we have it, Systemac with 2 minutes, 27 seconds, and 85 milliseconds, with Legim unfortunately falling back into the rear portion of this pack. So congratulations to our three leading times. Our three leading times will be moving on to the final round, and Legim at the very least manages to get that final race time of 7 minutes, 50 seconds, and 74 milliseconds just in time before the race ending notification starts to play down. So congratulations to Rumgood. Unfortunately, that first round was really challenging for them to the point where they left the game. It is good to see them come back so that we can redo that with the proper times, with all of our racers actually participating through all the way to the end. So Rumgood, congratulations on 6 minutes 37 seconds. We will see you in the finals here in a few minutes as we minimize this and head on over to our studio view. There we go. We are going to look through these times. We have Legim with the 4th place finish, Rippers with the 3rd place finish, Airside Ivan in 2nd place, and Rumgood in our 1st place position here, moving on into the finals. So we will actually be seeing these players swapping location just a little bit. Unfortunately, Legim not going to be moving forward into this final round. That hurts, but we got to make sure it's fair for everybody and that all races, that all times are counted based on the latest race that is most fair for everybody. And we have Legim with that 7 minutes, 50 seconds, and 74 milliseconds. Rippers with 7 minutes, 28 seconds, and 85 milliseconds. Airsai Ivan coming in at 7 minutes, 11 seconds, and what was the milliseconds in that one? I cannot quite remember. 69 milliseconds, 7 minutes, 11 seconds, and 69 milliseconds. And then we have Rumgut coming in the first place position with 6:37.66. So we will be seeing these racers moving on to the next round, where we will have our finals between Cats 740, Cyrez, Barak. Let's swap this one out. Apologies here. Oops, that's not the right name. We need Rumgut. There we go. We have Cat 740 facing off against Cyrez. We have Barak 43, Rumgut, Rippers, and Airsai Ivan heading on into our final grouping that we have heading forward. So good game to all of our racers, and soon, very, very soon, we will be seeing our final race. And there we go. We are heading on. Have our racers taking off. We have a very early lead being taken. Well, actually no early lead being taken, really. Everybody is clumped together in that very beginning portion. Let's take a look at Rumgut heading into that first curve, and you can see two other racers right next to them, almost hitting those buildings. They are extremely close to one another. Who are these people? They are insane and absolutely crazy. We're not going to switch over there. We're going to switch over to Katz's view, and Katz is looking like they are pulling up the rear just behind Airsai Ivan, passing Airsai Ivan. And it looks like Rumgut maybe starting to head a little bit more into the lead there. Oh, and this beautiful view of Rumgut even just like inches behind that other racer in front of them. Let's take a look at that. You can see like right down their engine pretty clearly. And here's Barak. Unfortunately, we got a little bit of a latency issue here with Barak, so we're not going to be switching to them very often, but we may every so often. Here we go with Cyrez. Looks like Cyrez doesn't have anybody directly in front of them, so I'm going to assume, and yes, Cyrez is in the lead, followed immediately by Rumgut, then Systemac, Ripper, and Cat 740, and then Barak and Airsai Ivan bringing up the rear. Let's take a look over at this Cat's cam. And we have Cats heading into this kind of sort of the longer switchback that we have here before heading into the long spiraling upward curve. And let's take a look at Cyrez, our current leader, as they just start heading into that long curve up. They're taking this pretty conservatively, once again, slowing down pretty hard as they come into the curve. And everybody in chat, how are we feeling? How do we feel this race is going? Who do you think is going to win? And yes, of course, we do have our beautiful Aurora here representing us at Star Racing. This is the wonderful Marathos, who's going to be acting as our camera. And here we go. It looks like we have our first racer starting to come into that start line, but there is someone right behind them. This is Cyrez with 2 minutes 6 seconds. Then we have almost immediately behind, we have 2 minutes 10 seconds for Rumgut. And then who do we have coming up next in behind there? Looks like we don't necessarily have anyone coming up right away, but here we go, Barak 43 with a little bit of stuttering, but hopefully on their screen they don't have the stuttering because they come in with 2 minutes 15 seconds 76 milliseconds. Let's take a look at our standings. It looks like everybody has made it through. So we have Cyrez, 2 minutes 6 seconds, Cat 740, 209, Rumgut with 210, and Barak with 215, 218 for Systemac, and 221 for Airsai Ivan. These are some extremely tight times. That is all within 15 seconds of each other. It is really anybody's race still as we stand right now. Cyrez still in the lead, managing to hang on to that, but we have Rumgut and Cats both hot on their heels. In fact, you can even see the little image right there in the corner of, it looks like Cats is just in front of Cyrez, or just in front of Rumgood, and then just in front of Cats himself is going to be Cyrez. So we'll see how this goes. They are so incredibly close to one another. And it looks like the standings stayed largely the same. We have Cyrez, Cats, Rumgood, Barak 43, so that little swap between Barak and Systemac, and then Airsai Ivan bringing up the rear. There we go, a nice little overhead flyby from Cyrez as we get into the middle portion of this. And actually looks like Cyrez is already approaching the end of their second lap. This is quite impressive timing. To be already up here. This is at 3 minutes 47 seconds. They are starting to come into the end of their second lap. That is wild timing, actually. Oh, but unfortunately they took that corner just a little bit too close, and they did crash into the top there. Here, we're going to turn on some audio here. Let's turn it down, though, so that we have a little bit of audio going on in the background. Oh, never mind. We have another commentator in that view, so we're going to just turn that off. Here we have Cats coming down towards the end of their third lap, still just behind Cyrez, but let's take a look at what time is it that we're going to be getting through, and they come in just behind Cyrez, 2:07. Cyrez was probably 2:06:59 or some ridiculously short length of time ahead. In fact, oh, that view that we have from Rumgood, it almost feels like Rumgood is using the webcam to look around as they're flying. But there we go. They are taking the lead away from Cyrez here. Or not. There we go. Cyrez popping ahead of them. Let's take a look at Cyrez's view. And it looks like there's a little bit of a sync issue here. They're not exactly in the same place, but they're still definitely extremely, extremely close. Here comes Rumgood coming through that long, long straightaway, and we have our third lap going on with some incredible, incredible action. Here we go. Taking a look at Cats, who is right immediately behind Cyrez. There was a little bump right there. Definitely scratched the paint on one another's ships. And here we go. Ooh, it looks like Cyrez, almost cut that corner a little bit close. But here we have a great view of Cyrez in that other M50 just ahead of Cats. Let's see, is Cats able to make up this time, or will Cyrez retain the lead and carry on through until the end of this? Looks like Cyrez did just a little bit of a better curve on that last turn there, getting a bit more inertia into that final, or into that boost to head forward and into this final quarter of the race. Let's take a look over at Cyrez's view. They don't have anybody on their screen. They do not even know exactly where Cats is, but we know, as fans, the Cats is right behind them. Here we go. We have a view of Rumgood coming around in the same location, but unfortunately has fallen a little bit further behind. Let's take another look over at Cats, and actually, sorry, we are going to switch down to Cyrez, because Cyrez is starting to head over towards the end of the race here. Ooh, with a very, very tight curve over that tree there, almost colliding with the roof. There is Cyrez and Cats at exactly the same time. 6 minutes, 22 seconds, and 95 milliseconds. That is an exact tie. We have not seen that before. That is unbelievable that we have exactly the same time. I suppose we're going to have some sort of a tiebreaker happen here, because that is the closest that I have ever seen a race result in this game. That is wild. 6 minutes, 22 seconds, and 95 milliseconds to both Cats and Cyrez. I don't know what we're going to do about that. We're going to have a brief meeting after this. But we also have Rumgood coming in with 6 minutes, 29 seconds, and 10 milliseconds. And then another tie with Barak and Systemac, both coming through with 6 minutes, 59 seconds, and 69 milliseconds. And Systemac with 6, 59, and 69 milliseconds. There are two ties here. That is unbelievable. How is that even possible? Is that on everybody's screen? That is on everybody's screen. Let's take a look over. I need to take a screenshot of that. That is crazy. Let's take a look back over at our official timekeeper. And then Airsai Ivan coming in with 7 minutes, 11 seconds, and 79 milliseconds. Quite, actually, efficient. Oh yeah, perhaps best lap wins, which is even then extremely close. That is an incredibly close result that we have here. This is something for the record books. We got to write this down. We got to start a record book, actually. Tiebreaker at Old Vanderbilt. That's a pretty interesting idea there, Chachi Sanchez. We'll figure this out. We have two winners currently, Cat 740 and Cyrez, both with 6 minutes, 22 seconds, and 95 milliseconds. And then Rumgud in third place with 6 minutes, 29 seconds, 10 milliseconds. Barak and Systemac also tying it up with 6:59 and 6:59, 69 milliseconds. And then Ersai Ivan bringing up the end with 7 minutes and 11 milliseconds. 11 seconds. I don't know why I keep saying milliseconds. I'm not usually into saying the incorrect thing like that. We're going to have a brief meeting to see what we are doing about this result. I am so excited that I accidentally unbuttoned my jacket. So that was an amazing finish. How did you like that in the chat? That was so incredibly cool. And just the instant of the end of that race, Cats managing to come back with the exact same time. Man, that was wild, because Cyrez was out in the lead right up until the moment of crossing the finish line. Well done to all of our racers. Cyrez was first on your screen and on his. All right. Well, we might. All right. Well, thank you for sharing that, Cats. That is pretty wild. But we'll have a brief conversation about this, see what's happening. That is appreciated. That is very bold of you to step back like that. That's great. We'll have a conversation though and see what's going on here. Let's take a look over. I am excited. My heart is beating super fast. So let's take a look over at the rec screen. Here we have Cat 740 with 6:22.59. Cyrez with 6:22.59. That was wild. Cyrez coming into chat with my heart is still beating. That is a great way to build up some adrenaline for this wonderful, wonderful evening or afternoon, whatever time it is for you. Rumgud with 6:29, 10 milliseconds. Ripper coming in with 6:59, 69 milliseconds. Barak also with 6:59, 69, and Ersai Ivan with 7:11.09, I believe. I can't quite remember, but we will find that out and we'll get this posted up here in a moment. So, congratulations to our current potential winners. We're gonna take a look at this and see how this is gonna go down, what we're gonna do about this. But that was a super, super cool race. All right, let's take a look at the channel right over here. This is why we need to figure out some sort of instant replay technology for this stream. I would love to have that. If anybody has the expertise to be able to make instant replays, please share with us your knowledge, because this is what instant replay is made for. We got to see that again. I'm going to be watching this VOD. Absolutely. So, as we settle down and as we calm down from that amazing display right there, how is everybody in chat feeling? We're going to talk very briefly about what to do next, how that happened, how this is going to go, and we are going to be hearing very soon from everybody here. Oof, I'm speechless. I can't even talk. I'm amazed at that end. 6:22.59, 6:22.59. Very, very good times and exactly the same time. How does that happen? That's very, very cool. So, congratulations to all of our racers. Thank you again to all of our racers for your participation. Thank you to our fans out in the audience for listening. Please stick around, find out what we're doing about this finish of the previous race. I believe that it looks like we are going to be awarding the victory to Cyrez, thanks to Cats and Cyrez both saying that they showed up with Cyrez slightly ahead in game. So I think that is fair to assume and fair to respect that finish. But we'll talk about see what happens. Please stick around, because we have an interview with the victor, whoever that may be, coming up in a couple of minutes here. Enjoy the music for this moment while we figure that out, and we will be right back. Thank you. And as you can see with the updates to the screen you are looking at right now, we have our final winner. It looks like we have Cyrez coming in just a hair ahead of Cats with that 6 minutes 22 seconds 95 milliseconds. Cats acknowledging that they are in just behind with 6 minutes 22 seconds and 95 milliseconds. Rumgood third place with 6:29:10. Barak 43 and Rippers again in a very similar situation where we have 6:59:69 and 6:59:69 for both of them, and then Airside Ivan heading on into 7:11:79. We're going to be hanging out here for just a moment until we get the chance to start an interview with our winner. I believe that is going to, well, Cyrez, we are going to be having winner interview here in a moment. Just bear with us. Thank you. So just a second, I'll just introduce this and then we'll get started. Oh, sorry, I thought that the microphone was muted for everybody. That's fine. We're going to be getting on to this interview with Cyrez. So, let's do the correct buttons. Hello, Cyrez. Welcome to the Winner's Circle, I believe once again. How are you doing?
What did you say last?
How are you feeling after that win?
Oh, it's pretty amazing. I still have my heart beating somehow. It was extremely close, and it was, the whole thing was completely new because it was the first tournament in a new flight model. No one knew how the people could handle it. So I didn't know how good Cats were. Cats didn't know how good I was, or even the other people. I'm pretty sad that Ninjetti couldn't join, to be honest. But at the end, I'm pretty glad that I could manage to get that, I don't know, millisecond, not even a millisecond advantage maybe at the end.
Yeah, that was pretty amazing, because watching from the perspective of outside of the game, you could see that like you had it, and then just Cats came up right at that last second and really kind of threw everything off. It was very, very, very tense moment. That was extremely cool.
Yeah, I did mistakes there. I recognized I really thought I have lost the match. I had a crash in between, but I didn't explode it. I could just flew further. That was pretty much luck. And that was the time where Cats was directly on my neck, and I knew it. And on the last part where you fly down before you go into the tunnel, I had an overheat, and that was the time where I thought, oh, now it's done. Bad timing. So that was that made it extremely close. I didn't even hurt him at that time. Normally I hear another racer behind me or beside me, but I'm not sure. I didn't hurt anything at the time. I just watched at a score screen at the end and was pretty, yeah, I don't know the word in English, so it's was pretty amazing looking at that and thinking, so, oh, what the fuck, he was directly beside me.
Yeah, totally. I mean, that's certainly very, very surprising. It's a good way to get your blood pumping through your system as quickly as you possibly can. That's very, very cool. Well, so what do you think is next for you? Now that you are walking away with the win at this tournament, do you have any other tournaments coming up that you're going to be participating in?
Currently, I don't know about other tournaments, but I will watch out for them. And I guess I will go on with training, with racing, because it's somehow fun, even if I don't like this flight model. But racing still has its community, and you can push for getting good times and compete with other people, and that's something which makes it still fun. And I just trained Default Link till now, so I guess I should watch some other racetracks in the next time.
Yeah, maybe. Well, it certainly paid off your practice on Defford Link, so that's definitely good. So you said that you don't really like the current flight model. What is it that you don't like about it?
It's pretty hard to handle because there are different things which doesn't feel intuitive. So if you, for example, are playing with a HOTA system, with a throttle, and if you want to drift around the building, for example, there's a part in Defford Link where you drift around the building. So you can't just set the throttle to 30% because if I have that speed, I can go around it. That doesn't work because if you're doing that, your thrusters are going some kind of standby with that speed. That means that your velocity indicator, so the direction where you are really moving to, won't change as much as if you would brake, getting slower, and just accelerate in that part. And that's pretty bad for throttle players. That's good for people playing with keyboard because they are digital with their strafe button. And with dual stick, it's also maybe more intuitive, but with the throttle, it doesn't feel pretty good. And that was something it was really hard for me to get used to it. Now I'm playing like the throttle is digital, so I'm pushing it to 100% if I want to accelerate, and if I want to stop or to deaccelerate, I'm just getting it back to 0. I'm not trying to get the speed in between, but that's normally what the throttle is built for. That makes it strange, and it's a bit more too much drift, so it's hard. You cannot, if you are recognizing, oh, I'm too fast. On old flight model, you can just, okay, I'm too fast, I'm just braking, and I may end up not exploding. It doesn't work in this flight model because if you are too fast and you can't get a curve, the only way to not crash is to accelerate in a direction where you are getting out of the building or where you are getting through the checkpoint and not against it. And that it's not very intuitive. And I also think that's a reason why new racers won't show up that much in that flight model, because it's extremely hard to learn that and to accept how it is.
Okay, interesting. Yeah, I didn't realize it was so advanced and complicated to get used to the new flight model. So yeah, hopefully that does improve over time, and hopefully they do make a couple of tweaks or adjustments to it to make it a little bit more intuitive to use. I understand difficult to use, but intuitive is definitely something that's more important. So,
Yeah, that's also what I hope.
yeah. So congratulations once again. Is there anything that you would like to add or say to your fans or to the Star Citizen racing community before we take off here?
Yeah, thanks for the support. Thanks for showing up in the stream. It's really nice to see people here, and especially if people from my organization are here and supporting me. And yeah, I hope people are liking what I saw here, and maybe someone got some kind of how should I tell, like that, and maybe want to try to race themselves, even if it's hard currently. You need a bit more time to get used to it, but there's a time you will get used to it, and you will recognize and know how it works, and then it makes really fun. So
That's awesome.
That's it, I guess.
Awesome. Yeah, it makes a lot of sense, and it's good to hear from somebody who's so proficient with racing already, and to know that you can also improve is good to know. So, thank you very much. Congratulations once again on your win. And yeah, hope to see you next time.
Okay. Goodbye.
All right. Thank you. Bye there. Of course, congratulations to all of our winners. Condolences to all of our participants, but huge, huge, huge thank you to everybody who came out today to race, to watch, to participate, and to help out. Thank you, of course, to our sponsors, who you can see right here. Thank you to our sponsors, who are going to be represented by NFI, NF1, Altama, PerCapita Live, Pulsar, and, of course, Amaranth. And thank you to everybody who is here to help out, here to participate with us and have a good time. Hey there. If you enjoyed that and you feel like you still need some adrenaline in your system, feel free to check us out over there at our Twitch, our Twitter, our YouTube, and on our website. Enjoy the races.